Traditionally, cacti and succulents, particularly in Australia, have been like this. And I suppose if you're being unkind, you could say they're a little bit garish and, dare I say, over the top. But on the other hand, you could say this is a lot of fun for kids, and I'm sure there's kids all over Australia that have seen stuff like this, maybe had them in their bedrooms or whatever, and got enormous joy out of them and gone on to become perhaps horticulturists or gardeners later on or whatever. But trust me when I say, there is more to cacti and succulents than this. And in fact, succulents, they're the things without so many of the spines, with just the interesting leaves, but which live in very dry climates. They're being used more and more and more in gardens today as the acme of good taste. And I've got some more seriously good news for you. These plants here, these are succulents, and most of these are Echeverias. Fantastic range of colours, unbelievably hardy, and will tolerate the most appalling neglect. Look at the palette of colours that you've got here. This really, to me, is quite extraordinary. Matching it to the right colour of house or to the right colours of paving and all the rest of it, this can create a whole new era of gardening. Now, what sort of conditions do they like? The Echeverias will take from full sun through to about half shade. They don't like a lot of fertiliser. Treat them mean and keep them keen, I suppose, is the bottom line. A little bit of fertiliser, not too much. They love good drainage. They will sit in a pot for year after year after year. If you have to go away for a while and they're not watered perfectly, you will get away with it. In the ground, make sure the drainage is good. If you give them bad drainage, you may run into some problems. About the only other thing you need to know is occasionally with some of them, since they are foliage plants, to control the snails. That's about all. But remember, it's foliage colour. These plants will give you most of this colour all year round, and many of them at certain times of the year will flame out into other colours. Glorious, glorious plants. So the main group, again, it's a dreadful word, and I'm so sorry, Echeverias. And what we're going to do now, it's actually Matthew's going to do it, is show you how to put together a bunch of succulents. And probably the most critical phase after using the right sort of potting mix is to look at which plants don't mix with the others, because if you put the wrong plants together, they're really going to look ugly. Now, we've got a centrepiece, and that particular plant will dictate the colour scheme, the textures, and everything else in this pot. Now, when you look at that, there's no way that that golden plant is going to work with a cabbagey thing in the middle. And neither is that. But notice the subtle harmonies here. It's a lighter colour, but it's a harmonic of the grey-green, the silvery green of the centrepiece. Now, this plant, if you notice, picks up that gorgeous silvery mauve shade of the edges of the leaves of the central plant. Again, it's all about harmony. Well, Matthew, I think you're to be congratulated. That really looks fantastic. How long will those plants survive in that pot?
Don, this can last for 10 years at least. Impossible to kill, completely hardy to frost, full sun. Can only be watered once a month and it'll still keep surviving.
Well done.
Design like this is only limited by the gardener's imagination.